Hello and welcome. I'm Nick
I'm Tyler.
from Top Notch Sports, and today we are going to be breaking down the Green Bay Packers 2023 NFL schedule. Tyler, you're a regular on this channel by now. It's about time we just get you a
Yes,
Top
sir.
Notch Sports shirt and hat. Let me ask you that. You've seen the Packers schedule. Without breaking it down game by game yet, we will do that in a moment. What do you think? Is it favorable, unfavorable? What do you think your chances are here?
Well, it is a favorable schedule. It was considered ninth easiest if you're going by how the teams finished last season. And I do think there's a fringe shot at the playoffs. I'm not going to say we're, a playoff lock or anything. The NFC North, I think, is getting a little tougher. The Lions are getting a lot better. I still think the Vikings will be a playoff contender at least. And we'll see how Chicago does. They're still going through their growing pains, and we're about to go through our own growing pains.
For sure. I mean, again, this is a post Aaron Rodgers, era. And it's probably the first time in a long time, the Green Bay Packers are really without, a superstar quarterback per se, if Jordan Love is not that next guy, which again, I like Jordan Love coming out of the draft. I think he could be great for you guys. So we'll have to wait and see. This year will be a huge testament to see how much he's developed since his rookie season. So without further ado, we'll hop into the schedule. But before we do that, tell them a little bit about your page and what you do and how you're a Packers fan.
All right, so I've been a Packers fan since I was about 7 years old. So I've been a fan for about 13 years now. Mainly, I chose them because of the players at the time: Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver, Charles Woodson, Clay Matthews, all those guys back in the day. And ever since, I've been a huge fan. And my page is Green Bay Hornet. I mainly just post podcast stuff and other occasional bits of Packers and Hornets media on there. So it's nothing. It's not a huge page. It's just a page. I mainly just go on there to socialize with other people. Out running a page is kind of just second to me at this.
For sure. And I'm going to be honest, though, Tyler, like I said, you know more about the
So,
Packers than most people I know. So, again, I mean, I know your page isn't, strictly Green Bay Packers and news and rumor, but if anybody wants to follow you, you'll give them good insight with what's going on. And like you have done multiple times on this channel, you know your stuff. So you were the best, GM in our mock draft, according to, our rankings. So congratulations on that. All right. Now it's time to break down the schedule. So let's hop into that right now. So, Tyler, in a few seconds here, you're going to see my screen. Can you see this?
not right. Okay, never mind. It showed up.
Okay. Here is the Green Bay Packers schedule. Does this look right to you?
Yes, that is the correct schedule.
Okay. So now, one by one, we're going to start making predictions. So, I'll start with you. Week 1 in Chicago, 4:25 p.m. Eastern. What do you think? Week 1 against Chicago, with all the moves they made this offseason, who wins week 1?
This is going to be a toughie. I think Bears will be favored by, I'm going to guess, around 2 points if I had to give the line for that game. That's tough. I'm going to say this is definitely a toughie. I'm actually going to say a close win. I'm going to say Packers win by about 3 points, and I say they get a very close win on the road.
Very good. I mean, look, it's a tough game week 1. I know everyone wants to laugh at the Bears, but I'll be honest with you. They made a lot of moves this season to be able to compete in the NFC North. And again, it's the first true game without, I know that Love played a few games, but let's be honest. It's the first true game without Aaron Rodgers. And this is a huge game, a lot of pressure on Jordan Love. But ultimately, I'm a fan of Love. And I'm going to come out here and say that, yeah, I agree with you. I got you guys winning week 1. It's going to be a tough one. But week 1, I do feel like, Jordan Love is going to want to prove himself early. And I think Matt LaFleur is going to do everything in his power to protect his young quarterback and help this team go to a week 1 victory. And they're going to ultimately beat the Bears week 1 in Chicago. And now week 2. Okay, you're versing Atlanta in Atlanta. Okay, another team that might be getting slept on a little bit. What do you think at Atlanta, 1 p.m. Eastern?
I'm going to say it's a close loss. I think Atlanta will be a little better this year. They brought in Bijan Robinson, Matthew Bergeron on the offensive line. And the Falcons were competitive despite not having an extremely talented roster. I know 7-10 doesn't sound good, but they were in a lot of close games that easily could have went their way. And hell, literally, they win only 2 of those games. They win the NFC South last year, which I guess isn't saying much because the NFC South was embarrassing last year. But I do think it is another close game. But back-to-back road games to start out the season is definitely rough. So I do think we split and go 1-1 in that case. So I'm going to say a close loss to Atlanta.
Yeah, this one's up in the air for me too. I think you guys ultimately probably end up losing one of the first two. It's just tough to put a staple on it right now. And again, these are way too early predictions. So as we get closer to the season, we'll probably end up making another video. But as of right now, like you said, the Atlanta Falcons have really built up that offense. Their defense is still a little bit up in the air, but I mean, between Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, that offense is pretty damn good. And then they got Tyler Algier as well, as their second running back over there. It's a really solid offense. They don't need a superstar quarterback to get it done. They got a lot of other pieces. The defense is still up in the air. I feel like they'll control the clock most of that game. But as of right now, I'm going with another win for the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to give you guys a win over here. It's tough. It's going to be a tough game. I think Atlanta's going to try to control the clock. And Arthur Smith did a really good job last year winning against the spread. And I think that he'll make this team tough. But honestly, I think Jordan Love's going to be better than a lot of people are predicting. So right now, you got 1-1, I got 2-0, and now at home, the home opener against the New Orleans Saints. What do you think?
All right, I'm going to say the Packers win a close one in the home opener. I do think I have New Orleans as a playoff team, so I guess I'm going to call this a little bit of an upset. So I'm going to say the Packers win. Alvin Kamara likely won't be playing this game because he's facing suspension. So that's definitely going to hurt. And I think the cold weather of Lambeau, especially for a dome team like New Orleans, is a big deal breaker. So I'm going to say the Packers get a close win at home and Jordan Love's first home win.
Again, that would be a perfect story. Coming home, Jordan Love's first game against New Orleans. You win, like you said, probably no Alvin Kamara. This one, my boy Derek Carr is over there in New Orleans, and I think he's going to hand them the first loss of the season. Maybe there's a little bit of bias. I don't know, but I like what the Saints are doing. Dennis Allen, defensive-minded coach, has had a top defense for the last few years. Oh, wait, now they're adding offensive pieces. They bring in, they got Michael Thomas, of course, right? We already know that. They have Chris Olave from last year. You bring in Derek Carr. You got Alvin Kamara. You got Kendre Miller now. You're bringing in pieces. You bring in Foster Moreau. You're making Derek Carr feel comfortable. You're giving him one of the best defense, probably the best defense he's ever played with. Plus, you're giving him a lot of good weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I feel like he's going to have a great improvement, although I think your point stands. Cold weather game from a dome team going to Lambeau, going to be a tough one, but this one I ultimately am giving to the Saints. So right now we both got you guys sitting at 2-1, just in a different way. Now at home versus Detroit, the Lions. What are you thinking?
I'm going to say it's a loss. I think Detroit will be a good team. I think 10, 11 wins is around where they're going to be. And I do think they beat us at Lambeau.
Yeah, this is another tough one. I'm up in the air with this one too. You're at Lambeau here. I was going to say a loss, but I'm going to go with a win because you're at home. And look, they're used to playing in the cold weather too, so it's no real advantage here. But I'll be honest with you. I feel like you're most likely probably going to split this team. And I feel like at home, there's a shot that you ultimately win this one. So for the first 4 games, you got the Green Bay Packers right now at 2-2. And right now I got them at 3-1. So recapping the first 4, what are you thinking after the first 4 games? How are you feeling?
Well, you're feeling all right. You're 2-2. You're still in the mix. It's better than 1-3 and way better than 0-4.
For sure, right? Just fighting, right? That's all you're doing is fighting along. All right. Now reverse in Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, primetime game. Rodgers no longer there, but guess who they are meeting? They're meeting Davante Adams in Las Vegas. What do you think about this one? Is it Davante Adams' revenge game, or do the Packers get their revenge on Davante Adams here?
Well, funny enough, I plan on going to this game in person at Allegiant Stadium. I'm very excited to see it because I've heard it's one of the best stadiums, and I 100% believe it. And from what I've seen, it's a very, very neat and clean-looking stadium. I'm going to say at Vegas, though, I think I'm going to have to go a close loss. It's close for me, but I do think that at Vegas, that's a very hostile environment, especially with Raiders fans, and I do think the Raiders ultimately edge us out.
Look, Vegas, like you said, the Raiders fans are one of a kind. I am a Raiders fan. You're going to go and see Allegiant Stadium before I get to see Allegiant Stadium. I never got to see the Coliseum. I'm probably never going to honestly see Allegiant, but I'll tell you something, okay? I'm not high on the Raiders. I'm not high on the Raiders. I'm giving the Packers a win. Go, Pack, go. Beat their asses. I can't stand McDaniels and the Raiders anymore. Go, Pack, go. Go, Pack, go. Screw them. Screw them. Okay? So I'm going with you here. You're the Packers fan. You should have them winning this one. But, hey, if not, I'll give it to you. I'm going 4-1, man. I'm liking this. I'm liking the way they're opening this up. But now they have a bye week. Okay, so you have them coming off a loss. They get a bye week. They're sitting at 2-3. Now they're going to Denver, 4-20. I mean, it's a tough schedule. They're on the road a lot. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4 times in the first 6 games. I mean, that's a good amount. So what are you thinking? At Denver, Mile High is a tough place to play. What are you thinking here?
180. 180, set.
It sucks to have me say this as another loss. It's because, well, first of all, we're not good off bye weeks. So that's already – and at Denver, I do think Denver will be a little better than people anticipate. I'm not saying they're elite. I have them winning around like 9 games. It's tough. It's tough. It's, I guess, a little bit of a ceremonial game for me because my grandpa, he was a big Broncos fan for like 38 years. So rest in peace, buddy. But it's tough. But Denver's a very hostile place. The Broncos fans are some of the loudest and some of the most passionate in the entire league. And ultimately, I have that as a loss.
Surprisingly, I do as well. I got a W popped up here, but I got to change that to an L because, I want to say, yeah, Denver's going to lose this game, but I'm going to continue to say Mile High is one of the toughest parts to play. And I've seen it firsthand. And, at 4-1, I have them at 4-1 to start the first 5. I feel like a lot of people are going to start saying Jordan Love is one of the best quarterbacks in the league at 4-1. And then they're going to lose this game. And then people are going to start scratching their head and being like, oh, maybe we'll, you know how it goes. If teams start winning, young quarterbacks start winning right away, they might be the best in the league. And then immediately when they start to face some adversity, things start to flip around.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
So after the first 5, I feel like you guys are sitting pretty. And then ultimately you come off that bye, you lose to Denver. And then they start scratching their heads because I don't think Denver's going to be a great team record-wise. Denver's probably going to be, like you said, right around 8-9, 9-8 probably. Again, I'll have to do my record prediction for them. But I feel like they ultimately will lose this game, going to Mile High, tough place to play. And again, Jordan Love's still a young quarterback, going to have to really get through some of those growing pains. All right, now your version, Minnesota at home. What are you feeling?
I'm going to say we break this 3-game losing streak. I have us beating the Vikings. Obviously, we completely thrashed them last year, but again, last year is not this year, so I'm not really accounting for that. But I do think the Packers get a win over their divisional rival. I do think Minnesota is a playoff team, but at Lambeau, they've definitely have had tough times at Lambeau Field. And I do think the Packers do get the win over Minnesota.
I'm going to agree with you on this one. And I know everyone wants to act like Minnesota's like this really grueling team that, going to be a special team and blah, 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 and and they add Jordan Addison, and they got Justin Jefferson, and they still got Cook right now, who may not be there by the time they get around to here, week 8. He might not even be there, in a few weeks from now, post June 1st. So I'm looking at this game, and I'm like, winnable game for the Packers. I know everyone wants to say, oh, the Packers are going to be bad because they lost Aaron Rodgers. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I feel like this is going to be a win for the Green Bay Packers. And at home, it's going to help them a lot, I feel like. I really do. Those Packers fans are good fans. So now we're going to go and we're going to verse the Los Angeles Rams. What are you thinking?
All right, I'm going to say we win another one. Obviously, I don't know how the Rams are looking this year. I heard Stafford's arm is better. So that's good to hear because I know he messed up his elbow last year. But I do think in the cold at Lambeau, especially for a super warm weather team like the Rams, I think the Packers do get the win. The Rams are kind of trying to retool a little bit. The Rams are kind of like us in a way. They're kind of throwing shots in the dark.
I agree. And look, they lost Ramsey too. They're kind of retooling, trying to get there. I'm not saying Stafford's a bad quarterback. I'm just saying he's slightly above average. I feel like he's like my guy, Derek Carr. Besides, now since he won a Super Bowl, everyone wants to kiss his ass. I'm going to be honest with you. Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl with the Rams with a lot worse of a team, and he had a hurt thumb and they lost. They bring in Stafford. They bring in Von Miller. They have Cooper Kupp. They bring in OBJ, and they ultimately win one with Stafford. And they're like, see, Stafford was very underrated. Does everyone forget that they added all those other pieces too? It was a super team. Yeah. I feel like you put Jared Goff on that team, I feel like they might win. So, yeah, I respect Matthew Stafford, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think what he did was phenomenal. I feel like most quarterbacks in that situation could probably honestly have won a Super Bowl. And I'm not, again, I have a lot of respect for Stafford. I just don't think Stafford is all that. And I don't think Stafford can make a bad team good. He can make a bad team compete like he did with, Detroit all those years. But, he needed a super team around him to win that Super Bowl in L.A. And again, I feel like Stafford will be here. Now, if they make the playoffs this year with Stafford, God bless him. He's phenomenal. But I don't see it happening because, again, I don't think he can make a really bad team good. So I do ultimately think that the Packers win this game here. And, again, with that being mentioned, I got them now currently going 6-2 through their first 8, which is a really good record. Now we're going at Pittsburgh. What are you thinking?
Whew, this is a toughie. Kind of teams in similar boats. They both lost a Hall of Fame quarterback just a year apart, trying to pick up the pieces. The Steelers, they went. Was it 8-1 or 9-8? I feel like.
I think 9-8. I think, or was it 8-1? I forget. I'll look right now for you.
I feel it. Maybe I'm just thinking of the Commanders, but then again, someone else must have had to tie them.
You're right. Last year it says they went 9-8.
Okay, so they did go 9-8.
Yes.
So that's okay. This is tough. Pittsburgh, they have some of the best fans in the league. They're very rowdy. This is tough. This is really tough. Oh, this is super hard for me. I'm going to do something no one else has done on this channel before. I'm going to say a tie.
There you go.
I'm going to say it ends in a tie. I'm going to say we get a tie this year.
Is that close? All right. Hey, you're the first one I've seen that gave a tie. I like it. 4-4-1. I mean, it will be super close. And a tie, I mean, that would be really crazy. I'm going to go with a loss here. I got you guys sitting pretty right now, so I got to do some damage. 6-2 sounds a little good. Look, I really like Pittsburgh. I'm going to be honest with you. I really like Pittsburgh this year. I like Kenny Pickett. I love Darnell Washington. Joey Porter Jr. in the second round was a good pick. The first round pick Darnell Wright, or no, Broderick Jones. I'm sorry, Broderick Jones. Don't love him, but he's still going to protect Pickett. I think that they're going to win this game. It's in Pittsburgh. They're going to be waving their terrible towels around and everything. You guys might shank a field goal or something, with Carlson's brother, Carlson.
Yeah.
So, gonna be interesting. Rich Bisaccia, love, Rich Bisaccia, but I feel like this is probably gonna end up being a loss. So I got you guys sitting at 6-3. Let's go to the next one. LA Chargers going to Green Bay. Now we're in November, mid-November, cold weather in Green Bay. What are you thinking?
I'm going to have this one as a loss because I do think the Chargers, well, they're the better team than us, well, especially at quarterback, at least from what I don't know what Jordan Love's going to be. So again, I'm being conservative. I'm not going to have this team win like 11 games or something. That would be like super best case scenario almost. But the Chargers, they have a really good team. They just sometimes just fall apart at the worst moments ever. But I don't think it's going to be happening this time. Could I see us winning this game? I think there's a chance. I'm not going to rule us out. But, the Chargers, they have a great offense. They added Quentin Johnston. You have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer, Austin Eckler, an improved offensive line. It's just the defense needs to find a way to put itself together.
For sure. And I agree. And look, this is a game to me I'm looking at, and I'm like, this is one of the 2-3 games I could see being flopped. Again, Chicago, and I know it sounds crazy because you think I would say, oh, the Detroit game I got you winning should be flopped, or the Denver game maybe flopped. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I think the Chicago game week 1, Atlanta game week 2, and this game right here could go either way. And this time go around, I'm gonna give you an L here. So right now in my toss-up games, I got you sitting at 2-1. You can flip those around any way, shape, or form. And at the end, I'll go over my prediction if they were to be flipped around right now, my floor and my ceiling. But I do got this one as a loss right now. It is a warm weather team going in Green Bay, so it's going to be tough. But man, Justin Herbert's probably my favorite prospect I've ever watched. Him and Josh Allen at the quarterback position. So, I just feel like this is going to be a tough one, a close one, but one ultimately that LA is going to be able to pull out and ultimately win. So right now, I got you guys sitting at 6-4 after a really, really, really 4-1 good start. In a 6-2 good start. Now you drop 2 in a row for me, which is starting to make it look a little bit more ugly here. But still, 6-4, not bad. What's the next one here? The next one you got at Detroit. What are you thinking?
All right, I'm going to say upset. I'm going to say we split, but not in the way we both win, but both of us win on the road. So I'm going to call upset here. So I'm going to call upset late in the year, and I'm going to say that, Detroit feels comfortable. They see Green Bay, they beat them before, they're ready to bite their kneecaps, but, those kneecaps are made of some thick ass ice, and let's just say we're the one biting some lion kneecaps. So
I would like it. Since I got you winning the first one, I'm going to make you drop this one. Although, again, I see what you're saying. I mean, again, I like your reasoning, too. I mean, they go win the first one. Maybe they're a little bit too cocky now, and they come in, at home, and now you upset them, But one thing about my prediction right now, like I said, you're seeing a really great start, right? People are going to start saying Jordan Love, best quarterback in the league, and then they start to fall apart, and now they're starting to say, oh, Jordan Love, the turnovers are becoming an issue. Again, I don't want to hear that. He's having a pretty good 6-5. I mean, I think you ask most Packers fans, you could go around 9-8, 10-7 this year. That's a pretty damn good year, But I just want to say the way it's happening, I feel like you're going to see the media go complete 180 throughout the year. Loved Love, then hate Love, So we'll see. Now we're going to verse Kansas City at home. What are you feeling?
Yeah, we're not winning this game. Trust me, I hope we somehow do, but they're the defending Super Bowl champs, and I don't know. I don't even see this game being that close, to be honest. They have the way better team, the best quarterback in the league, an insane offense. You could argue now the best coach in the league in Andy Reid, or at least the most successful over the past 4 seasons. I just don't see us even at home. I don't see us having much of a chance.
I agree. I had a really hot start, but now I have you guys starting to fall apart a little bit. This is the first time all year long I got you going to 500 now. You're going to lose to Kansas City. And now for me, I'm jeopardizing your spot to stay above the water here, right? Right now, you're trying to tread the water, trying to stay up. You might need a flotation device because right now you're sinking. You got to stay up, man. You got to start fighting. LaFleur, Love, somebody needs to do something. The next week, now you're going home. You're going to go all in New York and play MetLife against the New York Giants. What do you think? Against Brian Daboll and Daniel Jones.
Again, well, this is a playoff team last year, obviously a surprising team. No one had the Giants making the playoffs. They did, and hell, they even won a playoff game. I'm going to say we lose this one, East Coast, even though MetLife Stadium is really bad. Well, it's bad for both teams if we're being real here. I could see a few injuries happening for both sides. And so I'm going to say a loss. I think it'll be a close game. It's just, against these playoff teams, it's going to be hard for a young team because we only have like 5 guys on the roster that are like 28 or older or something, or at least like 5 that are over 30 and only 5 guys that are 28. This is a very young football team, so they're going to be going through their growing pains, and I think that will definitely be a case here.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna agree. Like this one's tough. This is I got 4 toss-up games now with this one. This is one I can see going either way. And right now I got you guys sitting at 2-1 in the toss-up games. I was really up in the air with this one. I thought win, loss. I'm gonna go with the loss. I think you guys are gonna fall below 500 here. This is one I think is very winnable for you guys. I really do. But it's gonna come down to, is Darren Waller still healthy? Is Saquon still healthy? Is Wink Martindale still running that defense? Is everything fine for the Giants? And if so, I feel like they can win. So right now I got you guys on a 5-game losing streak. This is not good. Falling apart. And honestly, if they're ending the season this bad, you're going to start hearing some rants from the media, the national media, saying, is LaFleur in jeopardy here? They start to fall apart this bad. And again, I don't think he should be. But at this point, 5 in a row, you're going to start hearing Stephen A. Smith and everyone start to talk about that. So, right now in those toss-up games, I got you guys sitting at 2-2 at this point. And again, you take all these games, I could have you guys sitting right now at, 10 wins, at 10 and, right now 10-5, and you lose all these games, and I got you sitting around 4-9. So, it's up in the air. I mean, I gotta you can be really good or really bad. There's a broad thing for me. Most teams within 2-3 games, I think it could go real north or real south for this Packers team this year. Now we're versus Tampa Bay in Green Bay. What are you thinking?
All right. This is actually on my birthday. So I'm going to say, screw it. We're going to get a win for the birthday boy. The Packers come out in the Battle of the Bays, or I think it was called Battle of the Pigs back in the day. So Battle of the Pigs, even though if you're wondering, I won't go over a history rant here, but it was during the Cuban Missile Crisis. I forget what it was called. It was something with pigs.
The Bay of Pigs invasion.
Yeah. Yes, the Bay of Pigs invasion. So this is the Battle of the Pigs, and I say we win the Battle of the Pigs on my birthday. Win for the birthday boy, baby.
I'm fortunate that I'm a history teacher, so I know a little bit of something about the Bay of Pigs invasion. So slightly no, so I knew what you were talking about. Yes. Look, man, happy birthday. Here comes a double win for me and you. You and me both got you guys. I do believe, look, the Buccaneers will be tough, but not that tough. We got to wait and see what happens. I mean, there's a lot to happen. I finally got this losing streak coming to an end here. And I got you guys now sitting at 7-7 and still trying to tread that water, trying to stay up. You need that flotation device, though, because you guys are starting to get tired. Had an early bye week. Got to stay above water. We're going to see what happens. Now you're going to Carolina. They have Bryce Young. He's definitely playing by now. If they didn't start, I think he'll start the season. But if he didn't, he's definitely playing by now. What do you think? Week 16, December 24th on Christmas Eve.
All right, so 2 teams going on growing pains. Or 2 teams I'm expecting to have growing pains anyways. I'm going to say we actually sneak out a little bit of an upset. I'm going to say a close win in Charlotte. obviously, Bryce Young will be starting at this point. I can almost guarantee that. But I think both teams will have growing pains. I just think the Packers, especially at this point, they've been rather poor on the road. I know we haven't been a good road team. Even in the Rodgers era, we weren't even that good of a road team. We were like a 500 road team, even with Aaron. But I'm going to say this is one of those games where we sneak it out. And, it's a battle of two young bloods at quarterback, two of, considered some of the smarter coaches in the league, and Matt LaFleur and Frank Reich. And I'm going to say Green Bay wins a very close game at Bank of America Stadium.
Now, I'll be honest with you, these last two, and I also got you winning against Carolina as well. Like I said, I think Carolina is a team that's trying to build. I love Frank Reich. I really do. But again, there's a lot that they got rid of DJ Moore. They don't have Christian McCaffrey. They're in an iffy situation right now. Okay. And I think the Packers are in a better situation than them. 2 games are left. I'll be honest with you. This NFC North at this point in time of the year, like see this to be decided game, the time for the Chicago Bears. That's because they can alternate that to, they can flex that to a primetime game, because I think that the NFC North will be, everybody's going to be fighting for that playoff spot or the division. I think everyone will be in it. So I feel like these final 2 games for the Packers, for the Lions, for the Vikings, for the Bears are all going to be really tough. I don't know if anyone will make the wild card. I don't know, because I'm going to be honest with you. I think the division is going to be all super tight. I wouldn't be surprised if right now the Vikings have 8 or 9 wins, the Lions have 8 or 9 wins, and the Bears have 7 or 8 wins. And they're all fighting for that number 1 seed in the NFC North to ultimately make the playoffs. So these final 2 games could be dire need. So what do you think at Minnesota, primetime game, December 31st? That's New Year's Eve. What happens?
All right. Well, I cannot go 3 in a row for the holiday birthday trifecta here. I feel that's a little, I'm not going to say too good to be true, but at Minnesota, I know there's the meme, Kirk Cousins sucks in primetime, but it's at Minnesota. We've had a lot of trouble in US Bank Stadium. Those Viking fans are extremely loud, and it's very hard to hear, especially in a dome. And, US Bank Stadium is considered by most to be one of the best NFL stadiums, and I 100% agree with them. So I'm going to say I think we'll be in this game. I think the margin will be by around 7 points. So I'm going to say it's a close loss.
Unfortunately, I'm doing the same thing for you guys. I feel like it's going to be a close game. I don't really want to see you guys lose, but I ultimately have this one being a loss. It's in Minnesota. Like you said, loud game. Jordan Love, primetime game, playoffs on the line possibly, trying to fight for that. And Kirk is also one of those guys that, like you said, so it's going to be a battle of a veteran that's not great in primetime versus a young guy that's, hasn't been proven yet in primetime. And they're going to both give their, opportunity to win that game. And I feel like I'm going to give it to the vet here. I'm going to give, primetime Kirk his opportunity to win, and I think he's going to win this one. So I ultimately have them winning. And right now you got them at 7-8-1. I got them at 8-8. And ultimately the final game, you guys are still in playoff contention. Chicago at home. What do you think? This could be do or die right here.
All right, I want to say we win at home, Lambeau. It's probably the final game of the year. I'm going to say we finished exactly 500 in the 17-game era. So I'm going to go with 8-1. Again, I think it's going to be a very close game, an exciting game. But at Lambeau, Chicago's had major struggles there. And I'm going to say that we sweep them and 4-2 in division play. So,
all right, drum roll, please. I'm giving you a win. I'm going 9-8. I'm going 9-8. I didn't know how this, I don't look at the schedule before we do this video. This is all live. I'm doing my prediction live. So it's not like I had this written down or anything. I got 9-8, and I think that's a pretty dang good year. You're winning 3 of the last 4. So look how I have this going. 4-1 in the first 5. Everyone's talking about Jordan Love being phenomenal. Aaron Rodgers was holding us back. That's going to be the narrative.
Oh, no.
Then I got you guys, for the next few games going 2-1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2-6. And everyone's like, Jordan Love stinks. Matt LaFleur may be fired. And then I got you finishing 3-1 in the final 4. And then everyone's like, all right, well, LaFleur buys himself another year. Love, he was okay. So we'll see what happens. Man, I like it. I think it's a great story. Now, again, I want to make this clear. I have you guys going, okay? Like I said, anywhere from, I want to make this clear, the Chicago and Atlanta game, I can see those both being losses open the season, and you start off 0-3. And then you win the next 2 against Detroit and Las Vegas. And I can see you guys winning the next 5 because, I can flip this Denver game. So I can see you guys going clearly anywhere from 11-6, okay, as a ceiling. And the floor this year is 7-10. So my ceiling is 11-6. My floor is 7-10. The 2 games I see flipping to losses could be the first 2 games of the year in Chicago and Atlanta. And the 2 games I feel like you could ultimately pull off that I got you losing is that Denver game and that LA game. So what do you think about my prediction, 9-8, and with a ceiling of 11-6 and a floor of 7-10?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think 9-8 is definitely possible. That could make the playoffs in a weak NFC. And I think, 9-8, Jordan Love has a decent year. The defense plays better than what it has been in recent seasons. And, the special teams won't actively kill us for once. And if everything comes together like that, I can definitely see 9-8. This is a decent roster. It's not like the Cardinals or the Texans or the Colts where you see like a lot of issues with it. There isn't many issues. It's just the one question mark, of course, is the quarterback, the most important position.
For sure.
So
and like I said,
that's the main.
For sure. And like I said, I get you guys going as high as 11-6, which would be phenomenal. I don't think that's going to happen, but I could. Everything happens perfect, 11-6. Everything goes south, I think 7-10. I think that's fair to say. 9-8 is my prediction. You have them at 8-1. Final thing I want to ask you, does that mean you think they're going to the playoffs or no?
Probably not. Probably just missing out, probably. But, 8-1, not horrible. Not horrible for a first-year quarterback. It's okay. It's average. It's 8-1. It's the definition of 500. You tie a game, you win 8, you lose 8. And, there will be some growing pains. There will be moments where we look great and moments where we look absolutely terrible. So,
yep. For
sure. I think it will be a very double-edged sword season, as so to say.
For sure. And to wrap this up, like I said, you made the impossible possible. The 17-game season, we got it at 500. Plus, you're the first one to make history. You got them going 500. Plus, you added the first tie. So, I like what you did. I think you did a great job. Packers fans, let us know what you think about our prediction, and we'll see you guys soon. We are built better. Peace.
Peace.